Hi, I thought I would share with you today just a really simple way of using scrap items, bits, offcuts from things, bits that you can find in scrap stores, old fabric pieces, things you can find in charity shops, things that you already have in your toy shelves, that you could use to set up just a really fun small world scene for your children to enjoy. Now, you probably worked out we love small world play here. Small world play is using small versions of real life. So that's your Playmobil, your Lego, Happy Land, your little farm figures, your little safari figures, all those kinds of things you can use for small world play. And we tend to enhance our play by providing the children with different resources that they can incorporate to make a beautiful scene that they can really use their imaginations with and really sort of immerse themselves in their play. So I will give you an example of just a really quick scene for, let's say, safari. So I've got two boxes down here which you can't see. One is my box of scraps and offcuts, and the other one is my small animal box. So I will start with just an old piece of fabric, green fabric. This has been floating around for a while. It's a little bit discoloured, but it does the job beautifully. Now we just lay that over the table, and that is going to serve as the base for our safari scene. Now, it's not all grassland. We have areas that will be sandy. So these are offcuts that I have either asked for samples on companies like carpet companies, places like Amazon, not Amazon, eBay. You can send off for samples. It does cost a small amount for the postage and to cover the samples, but a lot of companies are quite happy for you to purchase the small samples. Also, you could go to a local carpet company and just explain what you're using it for. Say that you're a childminder and you're working, or you're a nursery, and that you're working with young children, and just do they have any offcuts that they're not using? Because a lot of these companies have to pay for disposal. So if they do have any offcuts, they're really happy to find someone to take them for free. So we could just include some of these. What else might we find? Okay, so there could be a river. So another carpet offcut. Another thing I have is, this is something I picked up years ago from the pound shop, and it's one of those things you put in the bottom of a sink, just to stop your dishes breaking. So you could put that down. You could have this. I think we'll go for this one. What else do we have? Okay, so trees. There might be the odd tree in your safari savannah. This is my favourite thing. This is something I got from a car boot sale. I think it cost me 50p. You could just use pieces of wood. If you go for a walk and you find bits from old trees that have been broken down, you can bring them into the home and just dry them out. And there are some lovely, especially old bits of ivy, thick ivy that's come down from, say, if a tree's been cut down and it's had ivy wound around it. You can get some really lovely shapes, and if you just cut that and bring it in, it dries beautifully, and you can use that in your settings. So we could have a tree. Now, what else could we have? Now this is just a piece of wood that I got from a fish shop, so an aquatic place, and these are the wood that you put in the fish tanks, just to decorate them for the fish to live under. But we're going to use that, right, we're going to lay that like this, and that's going to be part of our scenery. Now I might actually include some long grass, and again these were samples from a company off of eBay that was selling samples for their the different lengths and types of grass that they sell, fake grass. So we'll have some of that as well. What else do we have? Okay, let's find some. Now over here, you can't see this, but I have my loose parts station. So let me just grab a basket. Now I don't think shells are appropriate for what we're building today, but we could have some stones. There's often logs and rocks and boulders, so we could make something out of those. There's another one. Oh, and another one. Let's have some rocks to play with. Put that there. Now this might work. I'm not really sure what for, but it should look quite nice. These are bamboo offcuts, which I believe I got from Baker Ross. They have a natural selection now, and for a couple of pounds you can get these. They're crafting supplies, but we use them in our loose parts station. So I'm just going to make a little pile of those. There we are. Now, animals. So what would we find in the safari, in the savannah? What would we find? So we would find an elephant. So the elephant can come out. I wonder if we have a baby elephant that could join the mother. I'm sure we have in there somewhere. Oh, here's an elephant. His legs are all a bit wonky. None of my animals match. They're all a bit mismatched, but that's the fun of it. There's a slightly different elephant there. Lions and tigers. Now I've not done my research on the savannah, and I don't know if lions and tigers live in the same place or in different places. I would have researched that before setting this up, but we can have some lions. Oh, we've got some tigers here. We've got a baby tiger and a mum tiger. Maybe they are round here by the water. What else? What else do we have in my box of animals? Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got a giraffe. So the giraffe could be here as well. Maybe the giraffe would like to be eating leaves off the tree. So, and then we might say, well, there aren't any leaves on the tree, so we could find something to be leaves on the tree. I'm not actually sure if I have anything in this box that would lend itself to being leaves on the tree at the moment. I'll tell you what I do have. Excuse me one moment. I should have probably brought this over. Here we go. Leaves on a tree. So we can drape that over like that. Those are the leaves on the tree. Oh, hippos. Maybe the hippos would like to be in the water, wallowing around. Let me see. Who else could be in here? Rhinos. I'm sure we'd find rhinos. Rhinos can be over here as well. So as you can see, you can just use the items that you have in your playroom. The best thing to do is just collect as many scarves, offcuts of material, anything. Just really think about items that you're throwing away or that you see in charity shops and car boot sales that you think you could use for something else. And now I walk around the car boot sale and I buy the most random things, and people say, you know, I bought that and I didn't think anybody would buy it, but I put it here anyway. And they'll give it to me for 10p because they really didn't think anybody would buy it and they just want rid of it. And they're saying, what are you going to use it for? And I tell them, it's a small world. I'm a childminder and I see things with a completely different eye. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but it is very much thinking outside the box. So pine cones now. If I was doing more of an autumn scene, I might use these for trees. Or if I was turning this into maybe a winter scene, these would make awesome little fir trees. So just depending on what sort of scene I'm creating as to what items I use. But if you collect these things, they are close to hand. You have them there and you can just bring them out, set them up, and it just inspires the children to play. And it inspires the children to create their own worlds as well. So it's not just about you setting these up for the children. Some children are not used to playing with lots of loose parts and are used to having toys that they use in a set way. That is the toy and this is what it does. We very much here encourage play to be more creative than that. So I'm all for finding lots of different items and making the play as interesting and as creative as you can, using your imagination to put things together that you wouldn't necessarily put together, to create an amazing world for you to get really excited about and to engage in. Because if it's exciting, if it looks fun, the children will naturally be drawn towards it and they'll naturally want to play with it. Another good place to go for really interesting things, and like I said, going to sort of an aquatic centre to get pieces of wood like this. There's some amazingly beautifully shaped pieces of wood that you can buy and use. And also pet shops have lots of hamster and gerbil and mouse house things. Parrot ones as well, things for parrots. So if you go to the small animal section in your local pet shop, you can find all sorts of really cool items that you can use in a completely different way. They have little bamboo houses, we've had little bamboo wigwams, we've had proper little treehouse type structures that they might not last forever, and you do have to watch some of them because they are being played with quite roughly with children. That obviously hamsters and what have you wouldn't use them in that way, so they're not as robust as if they were made for children. But honestly, they are worth it. For the £3 or £4 that you pay for them, they are really worth it, even if they only last you one season, even if after the summer you have to get rid of them, or a year down the line, they are worth it. So we could include this little house here. I'm not sure who'd like to live here, but maybe somebody would. Maybe there is somebody protecting the animals on the safari. Maybe we could go and get some Playmobil people and we could bring them out and they could, maybe this is a zoo, maybe this isn't a safari at all. And again, this is how the play develops. Different things will encourage children to think in a different way, and then before you know it, it's not a safari anymore. This is my zoo. This is going to be my house, and I'm going to live here, and I'm going to look after all these animals, and these animals are all friends, and no one's going to eat each other, and it's going to be fine. So just collect interesting items when you're out and about, and just see if you can think about how to use them in a slightly different manner, and then try making your own little scenes. It's really worth it, and the children will be super grateful.